We grind. We grind, we hustle, we're gritty. We compare ourselves to the 2023 Orioles. And, we might not be a lot of big names in the industry, but we will grind with the best of them.
Welcome to the Maryland Real Estate Influencers Podcast, where we explore the ins and outs of the local real estate market. Join us as we chat with industry experts, uncovering tips, trends, and strategies to help you navigate Maryland's real estate landscape. Get ready to elevate your real estate game. Let's dive in. Hi, everyone. Thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Maryland Real Estate Influencers. I am your host, Jennifer Healy. And today we have another guest. And Chris, if I'm not mistaken, you focus in on the Baltimore County region. Is that not accurate?
Baltimore County, yes. Carroll, I think that's my home. So
okay.
Carroll, Howard, Baltimore County, Baltimore City, Anne Arundel, Harford County, a little bit everywhere. Carroll and Howard, I would say, is my home for sure.
Carroll and Howard. All right. I'm going to make a note of that. Okay, and then could you tell the listeners that don't know you a little bit about you and what got you into the real estate business?
Sure. Yeah, my name's Chris Mabe. I'm the lead agent, team captain on the Schiff Home Team of eXp Realty. I go by T-Rex, and I earned that nickname from one of my team members from my work ethic, and he called me a T-Rex, and it stuck.
I love it.
And so I turned T-Rex into TREX, the real estate expert.
Nice.
So now it's a thing. Now everyone sends me T-Rex stuff, tags me in T-Rex stuff in Facebook and social media and whatever. So it's fun.
That is fun. And what made you get into the real estate industry?
Sure. I was in the hospitality industry for 17 years. Bartending, bar manager, restaurant manager in Howard County. And I loved it. And I have 2 kids, and they were getting up at 6 a.m. and I was getting home at 4.
Yeah.
And I said, this is not for me anymore.
I think so many of us came from that industry. I really do. I think there's something about it that just crosses lines so smoothly.
It's the same job, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
It's customer service. It's people know you, trust you, like you.
Mm-hmm.
And you deliver on your promises of what you're going to do. If you put out a good product, people will keep coming back.
I love it. I do.
Pretty simple.
I had a similar experience in 98, 97. I started was waitressing and did a little bit of shift supervisor at TGI Fridays in White Marsh. Yeah. Realtor came in, 2 guys every Wednesday at 4. And they said, Jennifer, how is it possible that I come in here for wings and a beer and I leave with a $50 tab? And I said, I'm paid on commission. And the higher that tab goes, the more money I make. I said, if you just want to throw it out there. And he's just like, will you come work for me? And that's how my start in the industry became. I mean, and that was so long ago. But he just liked how I served him and how I did what I did. And it's just amazing how that happens, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's funny you say that. Anytime I go out to eat now, or a brewery or whatever, and it's a job interview.
Absolutely.
Every single time. And if there's someone in there that's kicking ass and I see them hustling, you want to come work?
Oh, yes. Oh, I'm loving that. I thought I was the only one that thought that way. Yeah. I'm so glad to hear other people do too.
Yeah, for sure.
That is wonderful. So do you have family that's in this business or in this industry, or did you do this all by yourself?
No, I don't have anyone that's in real estate in any Mabes that I'm aware of. There's no one in real estate.
Okay.
I've been always really good with the hospitality industry and just working with people and building trust and relationships. And it was just kind of an easy next step to me, a transition.
Sure. And how old are the children now, if you don't mind me asking?
Sure. My daughter, Eleanor, she will be 10 next week. And my son, Mickey, he is 7 years old.
Wow. Good ages. Good ages. In my head, mine are still 5 and 7.
I hear you.
I mean, they might be 22 and 24, but in my head, they're still 5 and 7.
I'm with you.
Fun ages, fun ages. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your production as a team leader, as well as your team's production. And just talk about, because we have a lot of realtors that come on here and they may not know you. They might not know the Schiff team. They may be in different areas in Maryland. And I would like for you to tell us what sets you and your team apart, or the team that you lead apart from the rest of the industry.
Sure. We grind, we grind, we hustle, we're gritty. We compare ourselves to the 2023 Orioles. And, we might not be a lot of big names in the industry, but we will grind with the best of them.
Oh, love that.
Yeah. Yeah. So our team, we do about 100 million a year for give or take 300 transactions.
Okay. And how many people are on that consist in that team of producing realtors?
About 14.
Okay.
And myself of that production is around anywhere from 18 to 25 million.
Okay.
For around 50 to 70 transactions.
Okay. And did you tell me how long that you've been on the with the Schiff team?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah.
Well, that is pretty significant. That you're doing. What are y'all doing over there? We've had Jennifer Schiff on the program, so people will have heard her and the Manifest Network. But if you could tell me in your own terms what it has meant to you to work with Jen and Mike, and how that has kind of changed you in your business.
Of course, yeah. I was with a different brokerage before and a different team, and I left there to come here. And someone told me that you're at community college now, come to Harvard.
Ooh.
So very much like that. And we are very serious with our training, our coaching, and our hustle and accountability. And people might talk about accountability, and we're serious about it. And it's really, it's a careability. So we care about you and we care about your business, and we're going to hold you accountable to make sure that you're doing it.
I love that. I've seen some of your lives with Jen, the two of you guys on there, or sometimes Michael's on, and I find them extremely valuable.
Yeah. Well, it starts at the top. We practice what we preach, and we're not going to sit there and say something and do something different. Like, you're going to see me in the trenches, grinding and hustling with everyone else, and Michael too, and making sure that we lead by example.
Very good. And you are leading. So if we ask you, I know we're recording this at the end of October 20, I think it's the 20th. Yes. 2023. And so my question to you is, in the last 12 months, because it's been a very peculiar market, where have you gotten most of your business from? Is it coming from leads? Is it whether it's Zillow leads, Redfin leads, if it's social media marketing leads, or is it your sphere of influence?
Yeah, I personally don't believe in paying for leads. That might be an unpopular opinion. I think there's a lot of business out there that you don't need to pay for leads. So my main source of business is going to be sphere of influence. I was in the restaurant industry for so long, and I just have those relationships still built. And it's funny that I was at a wedding about a week ago, and I haven't bartended at this place in 18 years probably. And I got a shout out during the ceremony for being the best bartender.
Wow.
So people remember how you made them feel.
Love that Maya Angelou quote.
Yep. And that's huge to me, and just making sure that you are still building these relationships even after you had left a certain business, or you don't see these people that often anymore. Like, there's still room to grow in that area. So that would be number one always. And then expireds and canceled listings, and just being able to directly contact these folks that honestly just didn't get the right help. And there's just a lot of opportunity out there. I see so many listings that just come on the market, and it's like, please let me help you. And if I get an opportunity to do it, there's a lot of good stories behind it.
So when we were in the green room, the one thing that you told me about your team that I found that many agents that I'm speaking on here with at least don't share with me, I'm not sure if they're doing it or not, is I really like the way that you track all, and you know your numbers and you track your numbers. I'm a huge person that's into tracking numbers and tracking production and knowing the very specific details. Could you share with the audience about how you all track what you do?
Yep. So Jen, we track our business like it's a baseball game or it's a football game. Like, how can you win the game if you don't know the score?
Mm-hmm.
How can you come from behind if you don't know the score? How can you coach to what needs to happen if you don't know the score? So that's a really, really important thing for us within the team, is really just tracking as little as contacts, appointments set, appointment held, appointments made, social posts, like tracking everything within our business to say, hey, this is where you're exceeding. Awesome. Do more of that. This is not working. Stop doing that. Or how can we help you with this number to get it where it needs to be?
I love that. I love that you're dialed in and you're being really specific when it comes to that. That's wonderful. You also have what I found very valuable is you do a different type of 3x3. I have a different 3x3 that I use, but are you open to sharing your 3x3 strategy?
Sure. Yeah. Just talking about it, right? Not, I'm welcome to share the screen. I just might not have it in front of me at the
If
moment.
that's okay. Yeah, you
Yeah.
could just share.
Sure. Yeah. Each month, someone is getting something different in my SOI. It's really simple, and I'm always happy to share that strategy. And it's just a Google sheet that I track, and it's very purposeful. And each month, it's something different that someone is getting. Whether it's, for instance, I just mailed them out today. They're little packets of apple cider that it says, "Call me for insider information." So they're getting like little items of value, whether it's taco seasoning, we sent out gravy before, hot chocolate, pop rocks, Kool-Aid, any things like that. So like little items of value with something funny like in there, a call to action. And then just very purposeful surprise and delight gifts. If someone had a baby or got divorced or someone passed away or whatever it may be, sending them gifts directly through Amazon, and it doesn't cost that much money, just directly to them, to know that we care. And that's really what it all boils down to. And it's, there's a saying that it's the thought that counts, that old saying, but it's the thoughtfulness that counts.
Most definitely.
Yeah.
Most definitely. You also do some really good teaching when it comes to teaching the realtors on your team on how to deal with money. Because we know that it's not taught in schools and it's not taught often to realtors as they get older, other than I think during their class when they're getting licensed, it's make sure you do put money aside for taxes, but it's not really going into detail. Share with us, if you will, a little bit about how y'all go deep with the agents and making sure that they create a budget for themselves.
Yeah. Like you said, like no one teaches this really in school and life. If some of our parents from a different generation, like they didn't learn about this from their parents. So it just kind of trickles down, and you just hope to figure it out throughout life. And that's kind of what happened with me. So Michael and I took the time for several different occasions to really teach agents just basic stuff about money. Having 3 separate accounts, one for savings, one for taxes, one for bills, and one for investing. And it's simple to do within your bank, and just having those. And step 1, like those taxes are not your money, so stop spending it. And just putting that money away. And at the end of the year, like I'm happy to write this big check to the IRS, because it was there and it was never mine. And I said, here you go. This is your money. So it should never be a stressful time with taxes, because if you already had it set away, it's no big deal. And I started teaching my kids that as well. So when they get money, they want to donate $1 of their money. They want to save it, and then they want to spend it.
That's wonderful. Yeah, that's what Dave Ramsey teaches.
Yeah.
So I love that. I'm actually a financial teacher for Dave Ramsey.
Nice.
So I totally understand that. Do you ever have pushback with the agents that you're teaching this to about how to create this or where they're finding challenges? Or do you find that most of them are just willing to kind of hand the reins over to you because it's something that they have no idea how to do?
No, I don't think we really ever get any pushback. We're here to educate and to help people, and that's really like the big picture is we're just there to help.
Mm-hmm.
And an exercise that we did was their survival number.
Ooh, that's a good
And
one.
you'd be surprised how many people don't know their monthly bills.
Yeah,
So really
yeah.
just breaking that down to their survival number and whatever that may be, and now relate that to how many transactions do I need to sell in order to hit my survival number?
Mm,
And back that up to how many appointments, how many phone calls, how much planning do I need to hit my survival number? And
I
it's
love
easy.
how you break down those numbers.
Yeah.
I really do. And are the agents that are joining your team, are they digging in and doing these processes? Because if I'm not mistaken, you also do a training that is led. That's every month. I don't. I'm sorry. I think it's every quarter, if I'm not mistaken. Because it's you had mentioned somewhere between 8 and 15 people in the training class, and then the topic changes every 12 weeks or so.
Yep, that's agent athlete.
Agent.
So that's a course that I designed. You could call it a boot camp. It's as little as 7 weeks, as many as 9 weeks long. And it's about once a quarter. And basically what it is it's a breakdown so everyone can track their numbers. We pretty much track it all for them. All they have to do is input it in their system, in our system, which
Oh,
they
okay.
should be doing anyway. So it's very easy to be tracked, and it's a scoreboard. And like I said before, like how can you win the game if you don't know the score?
Very
So
true.
we make it very competitive, and each class or each session is a theme. So, like this past session was a carnival theme. The session before that was Jay-Z, and all of the winners got to live like Jay-Z for the night. And
Mm.
we got to use limo, and we went to a hip hop museum exhibit. We went to a really nice dinner. The time before that, it was Hamilton, and we took a train to New York and saw Hamilton on Broadway, the winners, who set and held and made their points for contacts and appointments set. It was really good. It's kind of a win-win for everybody. The agents get to push themselves on production. They get to make more money. The team sees better production from the agents. The team makes more money, and it's fun and it's interactive, and we keep it very light and entertaining.
Now, are the agents also only getting their business through their sphere of influence, or are they using leads to generate some of this growth that they're having?
Yeah, we have all the lead sources. We use Boomtown is our CRM, and those are
Okay.
just internet leads with buyer landing pages. We use a third-party website that has absentee owners,
Okay.
and basically that's people that are like renting their properties who
Mhm.
probably would want to sell them after the tenants move out. We use, like I said before, expireds and canceled listings, circle prospecting, calling around to different neighborhoods to see if they're interested to buy or sell, and investors as well.
I love to hear that. For a person that does what I do and sits behind here and interviews a lot of different realtors, I can tell you that they're only a very small number of the people that I'm interviewing are doing any circle prospecting consistently or calling any expired listings. It seems that so many aren't getting out of a lot of people I understand have call reluctance. But even I think it's so odd that even in now, as the market is very challenging, that people aren't getting out of their comfort zone to do different things, to have different experiences. And I'm always shocked by that. So I love that your people are getting out there and doing it. Do y'all script throughout the day so that they have a level of comfort with that?
Yeah. Well, to back up to what you said before, there's a Tom Ferry quote that I heard when I first got into business that he said, nothing is more scary than not being able to pay your bills.
Yes.
So nothing I do throughout the day is that scary. You know, if you can't pay your mortgage or if you can't give your kids a Christmas present, that's scary.
Mm-hmm.
A phone call to me is not scary ever. Those things can be scary. As far as script acting, yes, we should do it more often. It's typically 1 to 3 times a week. That's scheduled script practice. And there's always like little mini breakout sessions in the office. If anyone's like having a tough conversation with a client or anything like that, we'll literally just break it down in front of everyone and say, hey, you know, how could this have went better?
Mm-hmm.
And there's always a learning experience anytime throughout the office, and we'll just share wins and lessons and things like that.
Oh, I love that. I can tell you, I have a conversation with my coach, and my coach tells me all the time, we sit and make phone calls in an air conditioning or a heated office. We have water or drinks by us. We might have a grape to, to moisten our throats. We're living a very comfortable life.
Yeah.
Making a phone call is not difficult. It may be uncomfortable for a moment until you get into it. But the people that are putting new roofs on homes in the middle of the summer, that's a hard life. The people that are bricklayers and carrying this bad stuff and ultimately getting a bad back, those are very physically draining jobs. Not making phone calls. And my coach is very specific about that and brings it up all the time. Just really what's difficult, what's not difficult, not uncomfortable, but just the level of difficult.
Sure.
So I so appreciate that you guys dive right into that and then teach and train your agents for that, because so few are training on that stuff or making the time for it. Now, when you do this, are you circle prospecting and calling expired? Is that something that you do weekly or monthly, or is that something that you do in a certain time of the month?
So circles prospecting is whenever there's like a new listing or a listing that just sold or something like that, or if there's just like a hot neighborhood, or even your own neighborhood is a really good source just to reach out. And it all depends on what type of farming you want to do. There's 1,000 different ways you could circle prospect. With expireds, you got to be on your game with expireds.
Yes.
So I do it daily and bright and early before anyone else.
I love that.
Yeah.
I do. I make my calls I'm supposed to make them between 9 and 11. I talk too much. I can't get it done between 9 and 1, though, if I'm lucky. So I can appreciate that. Do you start before 9?
Way earlier.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Wow. And how's your rate of conversion when you reach out that early? I have to ask.
It's good. You got to be the first.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Oh, I love hearing that. Thank you
Yeah.
for sharing with us.
Of course. Yeah.
What goals do you have for yourself as well as your team as we come to the end of 2023 and as you project and plan for 2024?
Yeah. Goals. I always want to do more, I always want to coach more and help more and do that. My big goal is to have mailbox money and to have just disposable income just coming my way, and just setting up a lot of green lights for myself. If you've ever read or heard the book by Matthew McConaughey, he talks about green lights.
I have not read that yet. I have heard of it when he was doing his circuit.
Yeah. So he talks about just setting your life up for green lights, where that's you put in the work now, you put in the grind now, that when you get older, that you have just green lights. And if you want to take a month off from work, you can. Yes. You want to take a big vacation, you can. So that's really what I'm all about now, is just building that generational wealth. And I do have a goal to buy both my kids a house to give them on their 18th birthday, and they can do whatever they want with it. They can live there, they can sell it, they can keep renting it, whatever they want to do with it is a goal to buy them both a house and give it to them on their 18th birthday.
Oh, how lovely. That is a great goal.
Yeah. So I want to teach them what to do with it. They can make their own decision. I would prefer that they keep it and rent it. But if they want to have a nice payday on their 18th birthday, they're welcome to do that as well.
Okay. So I want to go a little deep, if I may, and say that what do you think the biggest challenge is for home buyers in this market in October of 2023?
Yeah. You would probably say the interest rates. I think that understanding how to navigate through a higher interest rate is just probably a problem that agents have to teach home buyers that. So, I think a lot of people just say, hey, the interest rates are too high, I'm going to wait. And then, well, what specifically do you want to wait for? And really just educating folks on what you can do. And, can you afford something? And maybe can you buy something a little bit less and hold on to it and then get something bigger in the future? So I did buy a house in 2006 with a 7.5% interest rate.
Mm-hmm.
So I went through it. And, that's probably like the biggest area of opportunity right now within the market. It's just buyers they might be a little bit hesitant to say, I'm going to wait. And it's our job as agents to be able to educate them and really find out what their leading indicator of a need is. Is it, we specify on the D's, death, divorce, diapers, diamonds, deployment, things like that. So I think just really digging deep to find out motivation of how we can help people. So if I had a biggest, to circle back to your question, what's the biggest concern or need within the real estate market right now, is really just making sure that we're educating our buyers and educating our clients on how to navigate through this market, because it might get sticky for a minute. However, there's still over 4 million houses that are going to get sold every year.
Very true. Very true. And if I may ask the same question for the sellers.
Yeah. So what is like the biggest concern with the sellers?
Yes, at this time in your market, what are you seeing?
Yep. Them paying attention to the news. That's probably for both buyers and sellers.
Mm-hmm.
If you're watching the news or anything about real estate on social media or the markets, it's falling apart. It's another 2006.
Mm-hmm.
So that's probably my biggest concern, is the sellers just really just trusting their real estate professional and knowing that there is a way, and really, again, just finding out their motivation of how we can help them. And I think with sellers, just to know exactly what they need to do to get the most amount of money for their house. With sellers also, within, I would say, like today, is that we have a window of opportunity to sell for the most amount of money, because prices potentially could go down.
Mm-hmm.
Buyers are going to see that, and they could potentially start asking for closing help. They could get inspections. They could get, they don't have to waive their appraisal. So I think that there is going to be a little bit of an upper hand here in the near future with buyers. So sellers do need to know that and just set expectations that this is the market that's in front of us.
Absolutely.
Just
go ahead.
education. Yeah, I was just going to say, like, it's the biggest thing that I see with buyers and sellers that agents don't do is just properly explaining the market and not gloom and doom. And there's always a way, right?
I always think that myself when I see people posting on social media and they're not posting informative information.
Yeah.
I think it's great to post settlements, and I think it's great to post what you're doing throughout the day. But I look at it and say, in such a difficult time where people are seeing the news and hearing the news on the radio and podcast and watching it on all kind of media, why aren't more people out there informing buyers and informing sellers about what's going on, bringing up statistics from NAR or this specific county in which you work in about how many homes are on the market, what they're seeing? Is it turning? Is it going from more of a seller's market into a buyer's market? What does that mean? As you mentioned, they're seeing sometimes seller contribution, price reductions, things like that. Am I wrong in that? Is that just me and where my head is? Because I always look at that and say, why don't I see more of this on social media? And maybe I'm not privy to those feeds. It's very possible. But I just wonder why I'm not seeing more of that.
Yeah, it's easier not to. you
I get
know?
that because people don't want to have that conversation. I talk about my business on social media and then I get a call and say, you said that this was this and it's not that way today. I said, that post was from 2 weeks ago and
Right,
things have changed a bit. And they're like, oh, right. Okay, gotcha. I'm with you.
right. Yeah, and the easier not to is not my opinion. It's just I think that with social media and people, they always want to post the best things and
Yeah,
the things that are going to get the most likes and the most views and things like that. And education is equally important as and just those settlements and things like that. So people are going to look at the media and they're going to look at social media and they're going to see what's being fed to them. And
exactly.
if that things that they're being fed to them might be the cheeseburger and the fries and the milkshakes, like let's feed them some veggies, right?
Exactly. See, you get it. That's what I'm waiting for. And I have a feeling it's going to turn and then we're going to have all kind of people educating all over social media. But
Yeah.
I cannot wait for it to occur, to be honest with you. Uh,
So
what is the skill set that you are working on at this time? Is there one specific skill set that you're focusing on?
so a skill set that I need to work on is a blessing and a curse, is being patient.
Uh,
Um, I have the D personality, and the good thing about needing to be patient is that I get shit done when it needs to be done
yeah.
in a fashion. The downside is that sometimes I might be quick to make a decision that could require some more thought,
Hmm.
uh, and maybe just acting too quickly on something. So that is a skill that my wife will certainly agree with me on, is patience.
Yes. Well, Gary Vee is very big, and he says he makes 30,000 decisions in a day. And if something's wrong, it's okay because he'll just fix it the next day. Just make it and move on, make it and move on, make it and move on. And if
Yeah,
we're hearing that from Gary Vee, I think we can give you a little grace as well.
yeah, for sure. I appreciate that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And here's a question that I just started asking, and I really like it because I think it tells us a lot about the agent. What is your real estate superpower?
Hmm. Not getting emotional,
Mm,
and I will give Michael Schiff credit for that, is that he is certainly the king of that, of just not being emotional when it comes to it. And that there's so many times throughout the transaction that there's a lot of highs and there's a lot of lows. So if you stay pretty even keeled throughout the course of it, you will win and you will prevail. Because if a home inspection goes wrong, or if a buyer pulls out, or someone yells at you, a seller, a client, or whatever it may be, do not react to that, because it's gonna upset your day. It's gonna, change the way you feel, and it's gonna stress you out, and et cetera, et cetera. So the more even keeled you can stay in every single conversation throughout the day, good, bad, or ugly, you will win.
I love it. I
Yeah.
love it. I tell you, I wasn't so, I was very emotional in the beginning of my career. And the older I've gotten and the more people I work with, I've worked with some really fabulous people that I've learned that skill from them of just to take emotion out of it when they respond. And somebody can be going crazy on the other end. And they're just like, okay. And
Yeah.
this is where we are right now. And I think it's a fantastic skill. First of all, so fabulous for you for knowing that superpower of yours and focusing on it, as well as for Michael as well.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
we're down to the last 5 minutes. Is there anything that you would like to tell the audience about you and your team that we haven't discussed yet today?
We're always looking for good new team members that are looking to hustle. We do a lot of fun stuff throughout the office. We have, I don't know if you've been to the office or not.
Not yet.
It looks like a nice restaurant.
Oh,
Yeah, it's set up very cool and casual, and there's just a fun atmosphere. We've all been to those offices that are just lame and boring, and no one talks to each other, and it's just a big family atmosphere, and that's real. And it's organic and it's not forced, and people are not willing to, or not afraid to have a tough conversation with someone if they need to keep them in check. And I
mm,
think that's a good thing. If someone's maybe on their high horse, or if someone's down in the dumps, we're not afraid to be like, what's up? So we've built some strong relationships within the team, within the business, that really, I think, will hold strong for a long time. Because we've honestly, I think I've probably seen every single person on the team cry, including myself. So, when you can really be humble and show emotion, when you need to, so we look humble, hungry, and smart is really, what we're all about. Is you need to be humble, because this business will humble you. I can promise you that. You need to be hungry, and if you're not hungry, we kind of don't want you, honestly. We want you to be hungry, and we want you to hustle, and we want you to grind, and we want you to fail. And that comes along with that hustle. Like, we see it, and it picks other people up when others are willing to hustle around you. Just like the Orioles this year, like there was so many other people that it was like picking everyone up when they needed to be. So I think that's huge.
That's fabulous. Thank you so very much, Chris, for making time for me today and allowing me to interview you for the podcast. If people are interested in finding out more about the Schiff Home Team and the team in which you lead, are you open to providing some contact information?
Of course, yeah. You can always reach me or myself if anyone wants to talk or BS about real estate. My cell is 410-303-6297. Everyone can have that. Always text me, always call me. Something that I will tell you about myself is Sunday's my Chick-fil-A day.
I love that.
And as much as you want chicken on Sundays, you can't.
Ain't getting it.
So, they provide kick-ass service 5-6 days of the week, and then they say no thank you on Sunday. So that's something important to me. And Instagram, social media, whatever, we're all on there, and we're always willing to have a conversation and really just help anyone that is working through a problem or stuck in their business.
Thank you. Thank you so much for coming on here. And y'all, if you're interested in reaching out to the Schiff team and speaking to Chris and finding out more about how the team functions and find out more of how they do what they do and that accountability, please reach out to him directly. And I know that you have 2 of your real estate friends that would like to know more about this and like to know more about digging in deep with their team and what they offer and how they offer with this accountability. So please take a moment and send this podcast to 2 of your friends that would find it valuable. And also take a minute, whichever podcast platform you're listening to us on, please leave us an honest review so we can get this information out to more agents. Thank you all for joining in. Thank you, Chris. And until next time, we'll see you next time. Thank you for joining the Maryland Real Estate Influencers podcast. We'd like to ask you 2 favors. Number 1, forward this podcast to 3 of your favorite realtor friends. They'll thank you for it, and I'll thank you for it too. Number 2, we'd love reviews. It helps get the word out.